What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and in this video I'm doing my wrap up and review of the 2022 New York Pro Prejudging of the Men's Open Bodybuilding. It appears to be a battle between Blessing Awodibu, Maxx Charles, Theo Leguerrier, and Andrea Presti. I go pose by pose and break down that final call out, plus I give you my opinion on how these guys are going to place from first right down to sixth. Hope you guys enjoy the video. What's up, desktopers? Now, before I get into this one, I want to encourage you guys, if you like and appreciate this contest coverage, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding, including all my coverage of the 2022 New York Pro. And I'll be back later on for a review of the full contest as well, and do like a top 10, just like I did with the Indie Pro as well. So let's get straight into this one, and we'll start with a front double bicep in that final call out. From the left, we've got Andrea Presti, and we've got Blessing Awodibu, Maxx Charles, and Theo Leguerrier on the right. So let's start with that front double bicep. And on this one, I have Blessing Awodibu winning it. Just the way he opens up, his waist is so small, he's hitting that vacuum. He really, in my opinion, I think he looks better than he did last weekend at the Indie Pro. He looks maybe a little bit fuller, and his waist is super tight. So very impressed with what Blessing Awodibu brought to this show. In second, in this pose, I'd have Andrea Presti or Maxx Charles, probably with the lean to be Andrea Presti, to be honest, because I think he just opens up and he's more aesthetic on this pose. He looks like he's filled out a lot compared to some of those pre-contest pictures, and I'm very impressed. Maxx Charles, I'll probably have him third on that one. His abs are absolutely shredded. He sort of crunches down on that pose, so he doesn't open up quite as much. And then Theo Leguerrier, I'd say he looks a little washed out on this pose, although he looks a lot better than I thought he would based on his pre-contest pictures, because I thought he's maybe a little bit behind, but his conditioning was actually pretty decent overall. So on a front double bicep, I'd have Blessing winning that one. Front lat spread is much the same. Blessing's waist to shoulder to even elbow ratio, it's just the proportions are pretty damn crazy, and I love him on this pose. In second, I'll probably have Maxx Charles on this one because he's quite conditioned from the front. Waist looks quite small, and his legs look pretty decent overall. Andrea Presti, I would have him in third on this one. He looks pretty impressive in this pose as well. His legs are probably sort of equal with Maxx Charles, I'd say. He looks pretty impressive overall. His conditioning's pretty good, but I'd say Max is a little bit more crisp through the chest. And Theo, his structure on his pose looks fantastic. It's just that he's not quite as conditioned as these other guys, so I'd have him on fourth on that pose. Then we move into the side chest. This one gets a little bit closer, but I'd still be giving this one to Blessing Awodibu. In second, I mean, it's going to be between Maxx Charles and Andrea Presti, but I'll probably give the lean to Maxx Charles. I think he's just a little bit too thick and shredded on that side chest. But Theo Leguerrier actually looks quite good on this pose as well, although his chest isn't the thickest. The pose overall, he's got big hanging hamstrings. He's got a lot of muscle on those arms and those delts. Andrea Presti sort of just goes down on the back of his tricep. It doesn't sort of pop as much, although his legs look really good from the side, and you can see his glutes are in. So that's sort of a tough one. A lot of very different physiques on that pose. Then we move into the back double bicep. Blessing Awodibu, in my opinion, wins this one hands down. I never thought we'd see such a dominant back double bicep by Blessing Awodibu, but, you know, based on last year, I didn't think we'd see it, but we're seeing it at this show, and I'm very impressed. I'd say Andrea Presti in second on this one. Then I'd say Theo Leguerrier in third, and then I'd say Maxx Charles in fourth, because Max really does fade a little bit from the back, and he's just not as complete. His back just doesn't pop quite like these other guys, and he's just not quite as crisp. Then moving on to the back lat spread, I'd give this one to Blessing Awodibu. Once again, I've been winning every pose so far. And then I'd probably say Theo Leguerrier on this one. He opens up a little bit better than Andrea Presti does. Then I'd say Andrea Presti in third and Maxx Charles in fourth. Moving on to the side tricep pose. Now, Maxx Charles really hits a front tricep on this one. He doesn't even really attempt the conventional side tricep, although it looks like the most impressive pose overall because he's absolutely shredded. So if he can do that pose and it can be judged properly that way, compared to these other guys, I guess it looks the most impressive overall, but it's not a true side tricep, and it's not even really close, because on this pose, you can hardly see his tricep from the angle he's hitting it. Now, Blessing hits the proper side tricep, then does a really quick sort of turn to that same sort of side tricep that Max is hitting. So I'd say when he turns and does that, he looks overall more impressive. The fact that Blessing hit both, I'd give this one to Blessing. Maxx Charles in second, and then in third, I'd probably be a toss-up between Theo Leguerrier, which I'd probably give it to, and then Andrea Presti in fourth. We move on to the ab pose, and Blessing sort of starts this one with like a vacuum and then turns and goes into the traditional ab pose, which I do like. I think the traditional ab pose doesn't look quite as good compared to the side one he hits, and he doesn't really hit that one in this variation, so it's sort of a tough one to judge, but I'd give it to either Max or Blessing. Maybe Max on that one, just because he hits it sort of from the side and he looks absolutely shredded in that through the intercostals and serratus. Then we go into the most muscular, and a few of the ways Blessing hits this with his one hand on the hip, and then he actually does end up hitting the crab. I'd actually say Maxx Charles wins this pose, because when he hits that crab most muscular, he looks absolutely crazy. So I'd say Maxx Charles, and then I'd say Blessing Awodibu, and then Theo and Andrea following in this one. So I have Blessing winning every single pose of this contest except the most muscular to Maxx Charles, where he hits that crab most muscular. He just looks absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, basically I have him winning 6 out of 7 poses or whatever it works out to be. And Maxx Charles I have losing both the back shots, actually coming last out of these 4 guys in the back shot. So to me, it's a clear win for Blessing Awodibu. We'll have to wait till finals later on to see. But before that, I did want to touch on 5th and 6th place as well. 2 guys that are battling out in that second last call out, and it's Justin Rodriguez and Emir Omeragic. I think Emir Omeragic, while he does have a few deficiencies in his physique, he's only 23 years of age, and he came in pretty damn good condition, a lot better in my opinion than Justin Rodriguez, although Justin has more muscle and he's probably more complete overall. Emir just brought that much better conditioning, and I think that should win out over Justin Rodriguez in my opinion. But obviously Justin is a home crowd guy, and you know, a couple of weeks ago you'd say Justin Rodriguez is the clear favorite to actually win this show, but for whatever reason he just has that sort of like film of water and maybe a little bit of fat over his physique, and it's just not coming in. So unfortunately I think maybe his physique is a little bit tired and it's just not responding anymore, so he's going to need a little bit more time off, and then later on hopefully hit a few shows and qualify for that 2022 Mr. Olympia. But like I said, Emir Omeragic looking pretty damn impressive in this show, especially for being just a 23-year-old bodybuilder. The way I see this playing out in terms of placings, the way I would have it is I'd have Blessing in first place, and then probably Maxx Charles in second, or Andrea Presti, but I'd probably say that I think we'll go the way of being Blessing first, Maxx Charles in second, Andrea Presti in third, Theo Leguerrier in fourth. Then I think Emir Omeragic should get fifth, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. And then Justin Rodriguez in sixth. But let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you see this contest playing out? Is Blessing a clear winner? And who do you have placing in second? Is it Andrea Presti, Maxx Charles, or Theo Leguerrier? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified when my 2022 New York Pro finals review actually goes up as well. Also head to hdmuscle.com, enter the code DESKTOP, and you'll save yourself 10% on some of the most amazing supplements on the planet. Their pre-workouts are next level, whether you go the non-stim or the stim version. They're both absolutely amazing. Check out the ingredients list for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, and give them a go. And if there is a discount already on HD Muscle, enter the code DESKTOP and you'll get an additional 10% off as well. So that's it for me. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.